Hey everyone, happy Friday. Thank you for joining me here. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery kits. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. That's 9:30 Eastern and 6:30 Pacific. And I'm here every evening, and we work on projects from beginning to end so you can be part of the whole process along the way. So we're going to work on the Splendid Sampler 2 again. We are working on the Hello Sunshine block. So cute, by Pat Sloan. And we are just about done. We are going to finish it up tonight, I think, you guys. So here is ours. I'm using a white background for mine. Last night we stitched around the edge, the applique, and now we got to do it around this edge and do some little embroidery on the inside. So we'll get going on that. I may actually cut away the back. I know some of you were concerned about stitching through 3 layers of fabric, so I think we'll address that as well. But it's just gonna be some applique and embroidery tonight. So I'm gonna flip you around and let's get going. Thanks for joining me, everyone. Alrighty, here we are again. So we have the applique all the way around, and we're doing a zigzag stitch. So I do not have, in the instructions it says use a blanket stitch from your sewing machine, but I don't have a blanket stitch on my sewing machine. I got this old girl here, and she does not have all those fancy stitches. So it does have the normal like dressmaking stitches. And so it does have this zigzag. So that's what we're using. I have the settings are the same right now. I did it so it wasn't so close. I wanted it to look like, instead of a satin stitch, I wanted it to look like a zigzag still, just because I think it's kind of cute. And we picked the thickness as well, how wide it was. And I think it just is just the right bit for this. All right, so I'm going to go around this outside next. So let's get down here. So I'm trying to stay on the outside. I'm kind of trying to keep my stitch. You can see it's on the outside and it goes in versus just centering. You know, normally in my head I would try and center my my needle so it goes back and forth equally on both sides. But I want to have the stitching go towards the inside. I'm tangled up here. Hold on, there we go. All right, so let's just pick a spot to start. I'm gonna start on a straight edge. And I wanna just move, like I'm just turning the wheel. Ooh, I'm gonna go the other way. I just wanna see how far over my needle goes, and I'm gonna just pick up. So, all right, I know that's the outside part right there. So I'm going to start there, and let's just go around. Oh, there, perfect. So I'm right on the edge there. All right, and then when I'm on the outside point, I'm gonna pick up and rotate for this next bit down. I hope all y'all had a nice Friday. Holy cow, it was 89 degrees here today. Actually, when I was driving in the car today, it said it was 91, if you can believe it. So I'm just going around this inner point. So I'm just turning and turning and turning until my edge is back on the outside there. I think I'm going to kind of rotate this a little bit. Like just keep rotating it until it's the right spot. There we go. Now it's the straightaway again. Rotate. It's kind of going in the same stitch on the outside until I'm fully rotated. start rotating again. Oh, heavy smoke by you from the wildfires. Oh my gosh. We are noticing it here in the sense that it's kind of hazy. So here in Minnesota, we have effects of that too. But that's so scary. Oh, you wish it was Hello Sunshine there. How cold is it there for you now? Cold wind and rain coming. Ugh. See, that's funny. It could be like that any day for us too, but it happens to be nice all of a sudden. It's been kind of just all over the place, the temperature. Yesterday and today was like a good, nice, perfect summer day. But who knows? I'm just hoping we don't have snow anymore. We've been close. Oh, you're in Calgary and you're getting a lot of smoke there too. Ah. Then there's all the tornadoes here too. Ugh. We got a lot of these to cover. Oh, we're almost halfway done actually. Maybe a third of the way done with these guys. Heavy wildfires and smoke there in Alberta. I hate when they say on the news like it's fire season and and tornado season, as it's just like, you know, the norm, which I suppose it is, but I don't know. That bothers me for some reason. Ooh, you have elections there in Greece. All right, turn. Let's see. Now I think we're about halfway done. Oop, maybe went a little far there. I went to the Y today and swam, so I'm proud that I got out and did some exercising. I'm trying to stick to that schedule. I thought I had the perfect time to go to go to the pool where no one else would be there, and I've decided it only works every day except for Friday. It was packed again, and it was last week too, so I don't know. People apparently need to swim at 3 p.m. on Fridays. Oh well. All right, we're getting there. 2 more. It's all right to complain still, for sure. So do any of you have any plans for the weekend? I actually think I'm gonna work on some new patterns. So I'm gonna be drawing all weekend, I think. Ooh, I'm not sure I got this edge here. Oh well. I got it just kind of right in the middle. That'll work. Oh, you got your order today? Yay, done. Oh, good. I'm glad you got it. I always, you know, sending those out, I say this all the time, but like sending out orders into the world, I'm always afraid that they're never going to get there for some reason. They're just going to go to the ether. So thanks for letting me know. All right. We are done with that, you guys. That was that was pretty quick. So I'm going to pull those threads to the back and tie them off. Oh, you're gonna clean your house. You know what? We need to do that too. So we weren't here last weekend. We were visiting my parents, and that's actually we're gonna be going next weekend as well. So um, I'll be on location for Finish It Friday again. But man, those weekends gone, the laundry piles up and the bills pile up and everything just piles up. So I'm gonna preemptively try and get through some of that this weekend too. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I've pulled them. Oh no, there's one still there. Dang it. Where are you? Nope. Oh, there we go. I'm trying to pull the threads from the front to the back. There we go. Now I've pulled them all towards the back. Oh, you're going to be working on my sunshine quilt. Oh, that should be fun. All right. So I just pulled all the threads to the back. So I have like 4 threads here. The start and beginning of the front on the front and the start and the beginning on the back. And I pulled the front ones to the back. I'm just going to tie them in a couple knots. I've been doing tying off threads this way lately just because then you can't tell where you start or stop at the beginning. Oh, Irene, that sounds exciting. Irene's studying photography this year. Oh, you wondered if the large hedgehog wall hanging was something you did before I was watching. I think I finished it on some Finish It Fridays, Catherine. I don't think I did the whole project here, if I remember right. I think I just kind of did that on my own. Gosh, maybe that was over a year ago now. I don't know. But I think we did work on it a little bit, a hair here and there on a Finish It Friday. But that was ages ago. But that we should do something like that again, though. I love blowing up embroideries and stitching it a whole lot bigger. What program do you use when drawing? So I draw in my sketchbook, and that's just really, really rough pencil lines until I feel like it's far enough that I can tweak the sizes of things later. So then I will take a photo of it with my iPad, and I'm just starting to do it this way. So on my iPad, I am trying to draw digitally from my sketch. So I put my sketch on and then I kind of trace it and then adjust sizes of things, like if the head should be bigger or if the ears should be moved here and there, or if I'm not sure about the face, I'll do some sketches on there. On iPad, I use Procreate, and I'm still learning that. I'm not, it's a new step for me doing it that way. And then I'll go onto Illustrator in the Adobe Illustrator on the computer, and then that's when I'll make my really nice lines for the embroidery patterns, like the really clean, good lines, and any final tweaks. And then that's where I'll color the patterns and stuff too. So I'm just looking for my scissors. Oh, you guys, it's right here. So here we are. That is it for the applique. I think we pulled the fabric a little bit, but I think we're good here. So all that's left is the embroidery, but I wanted to cut away the back. So you don't have to do this. I don't mind stitching through this many layers of fabric, but just if you didn't want to stitch through, we have the sun, which has some seam allowances, then we have the rays, which is another layer of fabric, and then the background. So that's kind of a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of grab this front. I'm going to just try and grab it and grab the back and make sure that I'm separated. So like this is clearly not attached to this. I can feel that I have 2 layers of fabric here though. So I have the background and the rays. So I'm going to very carefully just clip into here. You make real sure that you are not clipping the front part. But there we go. So now I'm leaving the front and I have my scissors in the rest, and I'm going to actually kind of pull away from the front still. can grab the front because I don't want to poke through. I'm going to just very carefully snip so I have about a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Actually, I'm going to do like a 1/2 inch seam allowance. You want to be very careful doing this. And again, I don't think it's totally necessary. But again, if you didn't want to stitch through all those layers, you can remove it now. And you know what? I'm going to switch scissors now that I'm in there. And I have my finger in here too as a guide just to make sure that I'm not cutting through the front fabric. Just going slow. But now we'll only have to stitch through 1 layer of fabric for the embroidery. Almost done. I'm still getting my finger in there. I'm still nervous about cutting through the front. Just want to be careful. Ooh, it's airplane o'clock again. All right, there. So now I've reduced the layers. And there we go. So yeah, really, Terry, normally I probably would have just left it, but I think there were some questions about it yesterday about having all those layers of fabric there. So, you know, we got rid of 2 layers of fabric. So I can use this as a scrap. And I think it will be a little easier to go through just the couple layers of fabric, like the seam allowance and our 1 layer of fabric for the embroidery. So I think it will help a little bit for that. And I know a lot of people don't like all the layers when they're quilting and stuff. I actually don't really mind, but I thought I'd share just, you know, another thing that you can do here. So, all right, I am ready for embroidery. So I'm gonna grab my supplies. I keep all of this is a Sarah Lawson project right here, so from So Sweetness, but I keep all of my excess embroidery floss in here. So it is just hanging out in here. I have some needles up top, and you know, in the instructions it has a little black smile. So let's get black out just in case. All right, here's some, but that's like that's pretty intense, I think. So I'm kind of curious, like what if we use a slightly lighter color, like a, you know, this blue is just hanging out here. I kind of want to see what this blue looks like. You know, I kind of like this. I think I'm going to go with the blue here. This is just so contrasty. Like, look how dark this is to everything else. My quilt is so pale, is so light in general that I think this might be a little sweeter. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Okay. I don't need this guy on here anymore. All right, so I'm gonna get just a little bit off here. I don't think I need all that much. I have about, I don't know, 18 inches or so here. And let's see, what does it say? Embroider the smile using 2 strands of embroidery floss and a stem stitch, and stitch French knots for the eyes. All right. So I'm going to take 2 strands out of here. How I separate strands is I separate just 1 of the 6 strands, so it's apart from all the other ones, and I'm just kind of pinching it, and I will pull just that 1 thread out, and it'll bunch up like it's gonna get all tangled, but as soon as you pull the whole thing out, it'll release just perfectly. It's just gentle again now. And I'm gonna grab another zoop really fast. So it's actually very, very quick to do it that way. All right, now I need a needle. Grab an embroidery needle here. All right. So actually, in this case, you know, I did cut away that background, but if I were to do this again, I would have maybe kept that background because because there's so many layers of fabric, I don't think you'd be able to see any of the stitches behind if I end up with stitches behind. Oop. There we go. They came apart when I thread the needle here, so let's get those back together. All right. And I don't usually start with a knot. Should I start with a knot here? I don't think so. So I'm gonna do an away knot here. I just like weaving in my ends instead of using a knot. So I'm going to just make a starter knot, a throwaway knot here. And you know what? I'm gonna not use a hoop either. So I'm gonna just put the needle from front to back in the background here, and all that's doing is I have a knot here. It's gonna and I'm gonna start stitching here. It's gonna make amount of thread going from here to there while I stitch, and then I will trim that knot and I'll weave in that bit of thread there. Okay, so coming up right at the start of our mouth here, and there we go. So that kind of pulled this. I'm gonna just lay that flat again. There we go. We have this long bit. I'm gonna just leave that. I'm gonna kind of hold it there. And I'm holding the floss down. This is for a stem stitch. And I'm gonna go maybe a 1/4 inch away. Actually, I'm a little over a 1/4 of an inch. And I'm gonna go down into the line and then up on the line right in the middle within the same motion. And I'm still holding my thread here down. All right. And then that is my first stitch. So you have this loop kind of going underneath. That's my first stitch. So I want to keep going like that. So I'm going to hold this down again. Go, a little bit more than that 1/4 inch away. It's kind of like 2 stitch lengths. So a stitch and a stitch. And I'm going to come up right next to that hole that we just came out last time. So it was this part of the last stitch. So, and I'm still holding this underneath. Oh, Irene, have a good night's sleep. All right, again, 2 stitches away, down, and then up near that last stitch. The trick is always bringing the thread down like this again. And you want to go down and up in the same motion. Down and up before pulling it through. Oh, I like this blue. This blue is so sweet. Okay, I think that was the right move. You know what? I don't think I got enough thread here. Oh, well. I forgot that I was going to add in that away knot. Let's see if we can manage. Yep, I don't think I'm going to have enough thread. Boo! All right, and I think we'll just end the stitch by popping up here. There we go, and there's our little smiley. Ugh, I may have just enough thread here. I actually might get the other French knot out of this side of the thread. So let's do this French knot. Oh, just a side note, whenever I'm doing a pattern that has stitches and then it also has the French knots, I always save the French knots for last because I don't want, while I'm stitching my other stitches, I don't want to accidentally hook my thread on one of the knots because the knots stand up, they're more 3D, and it is so annoying when you loop your thread around a knot accidentally and then it gets stuck there. It's even worse if you don't notice it and then you've stitched a whole pile more stitches. So I always, if I can, unless it doesn't make any sense, like if I have to start a whole new thread or something, I will save my French knots for the end. All right, so a French knot, I came up, I'm gonna get really low for you guys so you can see this. And hopefully I won't hit the, you know what? I can just zoom in instead. Then I won't Then I won't hit you guys with my hand. All right, I'm gonna zoom in here. Let's see if I can do that. Whoop, there we go. All right, so for a French knot, I come up on one side of the dot. And now here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to point my needle away from the fabric. So I'm gonna hold the thread and point away, kind of like I'm drawing a circle and pointing away at the end. I'm not pointing towards, so that's a mistake. You want to point away, and while you're pointed away, I'm going to wrap the thread around twice. The thread that's going from the fabric to my finger, I'm going to wrap my needle around that twice, and I'm going to hold those loops with my finger. So I'm still pointed away from the fabric. Now I'm actually going to point towards the fabric. So I changed directions just there. I was pointing away, I'm holding the loops, and now I'm pointing towards. And I'm not going to go in the same hole. I'm going to go on the other side of that dot. And I'm going to just stick the tip of the needle in. So the needle's about halfway in. At that point, I'm going to let go with my finger and pull the thread to the fabric. And then I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to hold that knot there with my thumb. So my thumb is holding those loops. And then I'm going to pull the needle the rest of the way through. And there we go. So that is how I do my French knots. There's a few pitfalls with French knots, and by doing it this way, you'll avoid some of those pitfalls. You have a video about that on YouTube if you wanted to check that out. There's 3 things that you might be doing wrong if you're not getting your French knots just right. So if you follow these directions, you'll avoid those. All right, and I definitely don't have enough thread, I don't think, to... maybe I have enough. I don't think I have enough thread for that other French knot. So I'm going to jump back to my mouth here, and I'm going to weave in my stitches. I like weaving in my stitches instead of tying a knot because it leaves a cleaner and flatter appearance on the back. Knots tend to grab on things sometimes. All right, and I go back and forth 3 times. That 3rd time kind of locks it in place. And then I can trim right against the stitches. So that side's done. So this was the first side. Remember that knot. I'm going to cut that off now. Now normally I would just weave in the ends, but I would just weave in this front end to the stitches. But since I didn't cut enough thread to get both French knots, I'm going to try to get this second French knot out of this, although there's not much thread here to do that with. So let's see if I can manage it. All right, let's jump up to this French knot. So again, I'm going in one side of that eye. Oh, I have barely enough thread. Okay, I'm putting the needle away. I'm gonna wrap around twice. Ugh, I don't have enough thread here. 1, 2, there we go. Hold that and then point it back towards the fabric, and I'm gonna go into the other side of that eye. All right, then pull it tight and hold that knot in place. Pull these little guys over. I have just enough thread. All right, there we are. Another cute little French knot. Let's see if I can weave in these ends. Again, just barely, probably. Poor little ends. Oh man, I might have to tie a knot for this. All right. Mom showed me this trick. If I don't have enough thread to go the one way, go the needle way. And I think I'll only be able to go through twice. Actually, we might be able to do it one more time if I thread this. Serves me right for not cutting enough thread. And go in the backs of these stitches again. There we go. Whew, I think that worked great. All right, let's trim that. And this feller is done. Okay, let's put this needle away. Let's zoom way back out again. See if I can do that. Oh, hello! All right, I don't really know how I did that. Oh. All right, so you guys might be just super zoomed in on me for a sec. Hello! All right. I have no idea how to zoom out and flip this around. Boop. Okay, there we go. There's the sewing machine again. All right. Figuring it out. So I just want to put this away. Throw my needle back in here. Oh, technology. All right, you guys, but there we are. Cute, cute. So at this point, if you want, you can trim this down to your 6.5 inches. So I'll just show you guys what that would be. I do have my 6.5 inch ruler somewhere around here. All right. Oh, this is my 4-inch one. Where's the 6.5? Oh, underneath here. Oh, I'm glad it's weekend soon because I need to clean up this mess again. So anyway, at this point, I would kind of center that sun in here. So it looks like maybe a 1/2 inch away from the edge all the way around is about that. And then I'd go ahead and trim around my edge. However, since I am doing the quilt as you go process, I am going to leave my extra edge here because with the quilt as you go, sometimes it will pull in the edge, like as you put lots of layers of quilting and there's the thickness of the batting, it'll like kind of pull in a little bit and I might lose some more edge around. So to counteract that, I'm just going to keep the 7.5 or the 7 inches and I will trim down as needed. But we are done, you guys. That went way fast. I'm really happy about that. So we're going to actually call it an early night here, I think. I'm going to flip you around and we'll take a look at this. There we go, normal size. All right. There we go. All right, so here is the cute little sunshine. So sweet. I can see why a lot of people are making more than one of these. It's so easy that even that paper piecing is really fast. And honestly, if you wanted to make a whole pile of these, I would maybe even skip the paper piecing and then, you know, it's supposed to look like they're not all perfect, but I would just sew a bunch of strips together and then cut some circles out of the strips. Then you could make it even faster than the foundation paper piecing, but it's always really fun to do that foundation paper piecing. But yeah, just do a bunch of strip piecing, do a bunch of circles, and then just have fun embroidering the faces on all of them. And if you did a quilt, I'm just brainstorming here, but if you did a quilt, you wouldn't even have to put smiley faces on all of them. Some could just be normal suns, and some could be the little embroidered faces. I don't know, he's pretty cute though. All right, if you guys have done this block, make sure to share it in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group. I'd love to see it all full of smiley sunshines. That would be neat. That's it for tonight, you guys. That went super quick. So I will be back Monday at 8:30 p.m. Central. And again, that's 9:30 Eastern Time and 6:30 Pacific. And we'll start a new block. Ooh, you know what? We have another paper piecing block that we could finish. So maybe we'll work on that one a little bit, and maybe we'll just keep paper piecing for a little while. Maybe it's paper piecing train time for a little while. I don't know. We'll see how we feel. If we get totally sick of it, we will switch to something else. But it was kind of nice doing all the normal piecing for a little while. Got a few of those out of the way. Now let's get a few of these foundation paper piecings out of the way maybe. So awesome, you guys. I will get this up on YouTube at Penguin and Fish Movies. You might want to watch again to do that stem stitch or the French knot. So you'll be able to check those out there in about a half hour or so once that's uploaded. And I'll be back Monday. So have a fabulous weekend. I'll see you then. Good night.